So you want me to talk about the plot holes and the silliness? Yeah, I can do that. Uh, but I mean, if I do, it might spoil the movie for you. And I wouldn't want to spoil the movie for you if you haven't seen the movie about dinosaurs. Movie opens up with these mercenaries. Uh, they borrow James Cameron's submarine and they're going to the Jurassic World Park to extract some dino DNA from the Indominus Rex, the super dinosaur from Jurassic World, presumably so they can make more super dinosaurs, because normal dinosaurs aren't enough. We need super dinosaurs in these movies now, which I kind of disagree with. You don't need super dinosaurs, because inevitably they end up looking silly or just like bigger versions of the other dinosaurs. So they go to harvest this DNA, and they're like, don't worry, all the dinosaurs are dead by now. Why? Why would they be dead by now? You know they're not dead by now. And of course, because they aren't dead by now, these people get dead by now. And they send the dino DNA up to the surface. They're able to harvest that before they get eaten by a dinosaur. And that eventually makes its way to the evil business scientist people of the movie. Then you get to hear Jeff Goldblum talking, and don't let anyone fool you, Jeff Goldblum is not in this movie. It appears I had him show up for one day and to recite a bunch of lines that may have already been in other Jurassic Park movies, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything like Jeff Goldblum. He just sits there and talks next to a pitcher of water. And that really annoyed me, because that was kind of a selling point for this movie, to me at least, because I like Jeff Goldblum, and I like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park movies, and he's not in this movie. And then they introduce that paleo veterinarian, and again, like, I mean, never seen a dinosaur before. How can you honestly call yourself a paleo veterinarian? I'm a paleo veterinarian. Whatever. But she uses her paleo veterinarian skills to save a dinosaur's life. So Burt Macklin and his team arrive on the island to save the dinosaurs. And the whole time leading up to this, the people sending them on this operation, like every time they're talking about, we have to save the dinosaurs, but especially Blue, the trained velociraptor, that in the last movie was valuable because it could be used for the military. Oh yeah, we gotta go save the dinosaurs. Yes, and especially Blue. So we need to make sure that we get that guy who trained Blue to go to the island so we can save Blue. And the Brachiosaurus. No, just Blue. And those other species. But yeah, but mainly Blue. Oh, how more obvious could you be that these aren't up and up people on the up and up who want to save the dinosaurs? No, they're just there, and they really want to probably weaponize dinosaurs or use them for the military and train them. So let's just go with these guys with guns into the jungle to find this the smartest raptor in the world. So they go do that, and Chris Pratt's trying to save the dinosaur, and they find Blue, and he's like, "Hey, Blue, you know me? Come here." And then, the military people decide, hey, let's just trank the shit out of it. And then they shoot Blue, and then he's like, no, don't shoot him with the trank darts. And so Blue's still like semi-conscious and starts to rip one of the guy's faces off. And then that guy shoots Blue with a real gun, not a trank gun. And they're like, no. And then the military guy also tranks Chris Pratt because Chris Pratt gets angry. And you're just like, oh, okay, he shot Chris Pratt to shut him up or something with the trank gun to slow him down. And then it immediately turns from that to, oh, these military guys are actually murdering Chris Pratt and his friends on the island, I guess, and just going to leave him there to die, which is kind of quick turn. Like, couldn't they just like save the dinosaurs, take Chris Pratt and his friends with them and be like, hey, we're saving them, bye guys, and then take the dinosaurs somewhere and do evil stuff with them? Like, you didn't have to just try to murder these people. And I didn't think they were murdering the people. I thought they just tranked Chris Pratt because he was being aggressive. So then the paleo veterinarian runs up and she grabs the Chris Pratt's gun, and she points at the military people, who then all point their guns at her. And I don't know like what her plan is, because eventually she's just like, you need me to save this dinosaur's life. And they're like, yeah. And then she goes with them, leaving Chris Pratt to die. Like, I don't know why she was like, you're taking us off this island or something, or he's going with me, or I'm not saving that dinosaur. Instead, she's actually really selfish, and she's just like, bye, Chris Pratt. I'm going to go save this dinosaur now. Meanwhile, Clint, Howard's niece, and the hacker guy are hanging out in computer base in a bunker, telling them where the dinosaurs were at using tracking devices, microchips inside the dinosaurs. And they end up getting locked inside this bunker. And oh no, they need to get out of the bunker because the volcano's now erupting. So they're struggling and hacking and trying to open doors. And finally, it seems like the door might be ready to open or something. But then a dinosaur shows up and lava starts pouring in. And they're in even more trouble. And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, look up there. An escape hatch that was there the entire time. And we didn't need to worry about that big door we've been sitting here for 5 minutes trying to get out of. So they climb the escape hatch and leave a dinosaur inside the building to be melted by the lava, which is kind of the exact opposite of what they were there to do. Is they were there to save the dinosaurs from being eaten by the lava. So then Chris Pratt wakes up, and somehow all three of those characters meet up, and they're running away from the volcanic eruption and herds of dinosaurs, all while not being trampled or melted. And it's a fun action scene. Couldn't one of them have just not made it? Just one? Like, the characters in this movie are invincible. So 3 of them make it onto the freighter, the same freighter that has the paleo veterinarian who kind of just ditched them because I think she's a horrible person who made up a job title and just works at a nonprofit to make herself feel better about herself. Good actress, though. I don't want to take anything away from the actress. She did a good job. I mean, I liked her. She's an attractive young woman. Kind of had a vibe to her. Is it Shannon Doherty? She had Shannon Doherty face a little bit. But yeah, they all end up on the freighter to go wherever they're going, and they don't know where they're going, and they're just like, oh no, Blue is in trouble, and he's dying, and we need to do paleo veterinarian stuff to him. But only the paleo veterinarian is supposed to be on the freighter, so the other people all have to be secret and quiet while they sneak around to do a blood transfusion from a T-Rex, because that makes sense. And while they're going to go do that, instead of the paleo veterinarian being like, hey, military guys, I need to keep this dinosaur alive. Can you guys help me get blood transfusion done so we can save the dinosaur and not waste all your time? No, she doesn't do that. She just has the other people who aren't supposed to get caught on the freighter go and do the transfusion. So that happens. And then back at James Cromwell's mansion with his granddaughter and this old maid lady and the businessman who is clearly the smug jerk wad of the film. He's like setting up illegal dino auctions to people, and he like brags that they could sell a dinosaur for $11 million. They throw out that number 11 million, and immediately I just like, what? That's it for a dinosaur, 11 million. Like, I mean, clearly it's a lot of money, but for an extinct animal, I mean, just for comparison, Chris Pratt got paid $10 million to be in this movie for however many months of shooting. It's like, that wasn't even like to own Chris Pratt. It was just, hey, we're paying you to do a job, Chris Pratt. So like, Chris Pratt is barely worth less than a dinosaur in this world. Although Chris Pratt might not exist in this world because this world has Owen, Action Man. So yeah, there's like an auctioneer for illegal stuff, and he has all his normal clients. So I guess that's a job too, just illegal auctioneer man for the black market. I just wonder how you get up to that position. Like if you have to do normal auctions for a long time, and then eventually someone just like, you know where the real money's at? The black market. And he's played by that short English man with the funny face. I think he's English. Watched a show called The Detectorist, and he's pretty good in it. But they're gonna auction off the dinosaurs for seed money to make more super dinosaurs with the dino DNA, and they're going to sell these dinosaurs to different people from different countries for 11 million a pop is like the estimate he gives, which is also funny because at the beginning of the movie they're like, due to lawsuits due to the Jurassic World Park incident or the Jurassic Park World incident, there have been $200 million in damages. It's like, $200 million? Yeah, sure, let's sell these dinosaurs for 11 million a pop. That'll make our money back. And so they're doing that, and so then they introduce with kind of, they might have done like a dun 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 or some sort of ominous music, and they reveal that not only is the smug businessman not a good person, but he's also working with the evil scientist from the first Jurassic Park, who moved from the background to head scientist of Jurassic World, the Asian priest from Oz. Or chaplain. Was he a priest? Is a chaplain a priest? And he's evil because he doesn't wear a tie and he wears a turtleneck. And it's black. I don't know if that's a trope for evil people in movies, but it might be. Yeah, so while the movie cuts from like the super team saving the dinosaurs back to the mansion, they have the little girl running around investigating, and she tells James Cromwell that she found out that the businessman dude is a jerk and he's going to do bad dinosaur stuff. And James Cromwell's like, I'll take care of this. And then he confronts the man in his bedridden state, and then the man just, you know, pillow face. He kills him. As he's having an illegal auction, as all these people are showing up to bid on, like they're driving in to buy dinosaurs. Like, is that smart? Like, you got to tell someone that James Cromwell, this rich billionaire dude, is dead, and so you presumably would have to call like the cops, be like, hey, this guy's dead, or body collection, or whatever it is. But then like they'd show up, and all these people are doing military auction or a dino auction. Well, they don't do that. So then you think, well, like, you kind of should do that, because if you like wait a day for this guy to keep decomposing or do what dead people do, and then call him like a few days later after all the dinosaurs are gone, then they're like, hey, why didn't you call us? This is suspicious. Why is this giant millionaire who's probably written you into his will dead, and why didn't you tell anyone? He should have just taken James Cromwell because he was old and locked him in a closet or something, and then killed him later. I don't know. That's just what I would do. It's smarter. But no, they just kills him, and then he fires the maid woman, so the only other woman there besides the little girl, and fires her, and she's just like, okay, he's dead. I spent my whole life raising his daughter and his granddaughter, and now I'm gone. And she just leaves in the middle of all these auction, like dino auction people showing up too. It's like, this isn't suspicious at all. I'm just gonna head out. So then they're doing the dino auction, and they actually start selling for a little more than 11 million. I think, like, yeah, they have a screen behind the people, and it doesn't match the numbers that they're saying out loud. So thanks for that movie. And they bring out the super dinosaur, which is, instead of making a giant T-Rex velociraptor, they made a tiny super velociraptor who's bigger than a normal velociraptor and bigger than a Jurassic Park velociraptor. But it's basically a velociraptor with sharper hand claws. And then they reveal that the special ability of the velociraptor, they call it the Endoraptor, is that if you point a laser pointer at something, it will attack it. So it's like playing with a cat with a laser pointer. That's the big selling point. And they have this giant fancy gun they use to target people, even though it's not really that fancy. And they shoot it at one of the people at the auction, and the giant caged dinosaur goes like insane to try and murder this guy while it's in the cage. You're pointing a gun at the dude. You're putting a sight on him. Then you have to wait for the dinosaur. Why wouldn't you just shoot him? You have the gun. You have your finger on a trigger. Why? So the dinosaurs also, of course, the dinosaurs get out and they start murdering all these auction people while our Save the Dinosaurs crew is just situated throughout this Resident Evil mansion for different purposes related to the plot. What's her name? The paleo veterinarian is officially saved Blue, I guess, and they accidentally trigger super cyanide gas to be released to kill everything. And that's counting down. She's with the hacker dude who was hiding in plain sight as a janitor or scientist or something in the mansion, whereas Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas are in a cage where the bad guys are like, we're going to keep you in a cage where we will kill you later because we have no use for you currently. Now we're just going to take our guns and not kill you now. There is no sense of real urgency for the audience for any of these characters. You know they're not going to kill Chris Pratt. They're not going to kill Bryce Dallas Howard. They might kill the IT guy. In fact, I was kind of watching the whole movie. Even though I liked the character, I was kind of hoping that he would bite it, because then at least there are actual stakes in the movie. You know they're not going to kill the paleo veterinarian. And then they introduce the little girl, and you know they're not going to kill her. The only people that are going to get eaten are bad guys. Not a single person you care about in this movie dies, except maybe James Cromwell, if you care about him, even though he's basically James Cromwell in a wheelchair and he's not a character. He's just an insert in the movie to be John Hammond's ex-business partner. So that was my biggest problem with Jurassic World. You had the 4 leads, and 2 of them were children, and the other 2 were the 2 leads who are romantically connected. Like, no one in that movie is going to die that you care about. Then you have the obvious, like, military bad guy who mistreats and is mean to dinosaurs in the last movie, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, and this movie played by a guy I didn't recognize, and wow, he gets eaten by a dinosaur. It's hard for me to care about a movie if there are no stakes. Now, another problem I have with these Jurassic Park movies is that people get saved in the nick of time constantly by dinosaurs. At the beginning of this movie, they're getting attacked while running away from the volcano by mini T-Rex. They're like, oh no! And then, of course, the real T-Rex shows up, doesn't eat them, eats the mini T-Rex, and they escape. Haven't seen that happen before, except in like every other Jurassic Park movie. I'm getting sick of it. And then also, because Blue is the pet of Chris Pratt, he always shows up to save Chris Pratt, even though the entire movie he's basically on the brink of death because he got shot. But he's perfectly healthy and okay to fight the Super Raptor, who's supposed to be smarter and stronger and is larger. And there's a scene in the movie where they're fighting, and Chris Pratt's like outside the mansion, and it's raining because it's always freaking raining, I think, in these movies. And they're maybe even I think it was raining. But like the Indoraptor gets thrown out of a window. How does that happen? You don't see it. It just gets there's a window and there's an Indoraptor coming out of it. But it's like, oh no, I'm gonna get eaten by the Indoraptor. There's Blue, yay! Also near the end of the film, Bryce Dallas Howard gets her leg severely injured by the Indoraptor. She doesn't get eaten. She just gets a giant claw in her leg and she can't walk. And she's, go save the little girl, Chris Pratt. And Chris Pratt goes to save the little girl. And then while Chris Pratt's trying to, he basically climbs on the roof of this mansion and he's fighting with the Indoraptor and trying to save the girl at the same time as they're running and dodging and shooting or whatever. And then it seems like he's in trouble and he's cornered and it cuts away and you think it's going to be Blue going to save him again probably. But no, it's Bryce Dallas Howard, and she climbed the building and somehow found a gun and she's ready to save the day. And instead of shooting the dinosaur who's standing on precariously on this glass window thing, she instead shoots the targeting laser on the thing on Chris Pratt to get it to mindlessly attack Chris Pratt instead of just normally attacking Chris Pratt. And he catches on to the plan and realizes, oh, you're supposed to have this dinosaur attack me. I'm supposed to just dodge it because I wouldn't try to dodge this dinosaur before. And now that will cause it to, I don't know, in the movie it causes it to fall through the glass, which instead she could have shot like the glass maybe, or shot the dinosaur and distracted and made it fall on the glass. It falls and yay, day saved. It happens to get impaled on stuff underneath that they had no idea about. If it hadn't, then they still would have had just a dinosaur underneath them that would have just climbed up and eaten them again. So they also revealed that the little girl Maisie is actually a clone of her mother who died in a car accident, James Cromwell's daughter. And it's not like a huge shock or anything. Like throughout the movie, they kind of hint towards it and they're like, oh no, she looks just like her mother. And they make a big deal out of that. And like, you wouldn't make a big deal out of that in real life. So why would they make a big deal out of it in the movie? Oh, to reveal a twist that she's a clone. Because that's how this movie works. And then at the end of the movie, they have the choice again to let all the dinosaurs die. Or to, because they're going to be poisoned by that methane cyanide super gas. Or they could let them all out and let them roam free in California. and they decide not to let them all out. But then the little girl decides to let them all out because they're just like her, because she is a clone, and I don't even know if she talks like that. And she lets them all out. So I guess it's now there's dinosaurs free, except there's not even that many. Again, like they said, 11 species, and I don't know how many they brought over, or if they can even breed. I don't know if they address that in Jurassic World, if they have males and females now. Uh, but the implication, it cuts to Jeff Goldblum talking about how you can't close Pandora's box or whatever, I think. And then it shows dinosaurs like roaming the California wild, including the giant ocean one that's just out there, which will just die eventually. Like, I mean, you don't have to worry about that one. I don't think there were two of them. They're not going to mate. It's just gonna die. And then the dinosaurs are just out, and I guess it's supposed to make us think that like the next movie is going to be about all these dinosaurs and how we have to now learn to coexist with dinosaurs, and some of them are smart. It's actually kind of like the rise of the Planet of the Apes, where all the monkeys get out and they get smart, and then it's like, oh no, now we have to live with smart monkeys. Like they should have done like they should combine those franchises and do like the Lost World of the Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Fallen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Battle for the Jurassic Park 3. That's what they should call it. Yeah, Battle for Jurassic World 3. I agree with Jeff Goldblum's character, though. He says in the movie that we should let the dinosaurs die, and I agree with him. In fact, I think in saving many of these endangered species across the world is kind of playing God, unless we're actively responsible for, like, murdering and killing those animals. I don't think we have a responsibility to ensure the survival of certain species. Specifically, I think that if we hear of another giant volcanic eruption that's going to happen and everyone's in danger, instead of saving the animals on the island, we can save the people. Not a monster. Not a monster. We should fly like pandas to the island so that we can get rid of that giant financial burden once for all and eliminate the giant pandas. I think that would be a good idea. I'm not a fan of those guys. They should be extinct.